Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Amma ba'd, we continue with our daily lessons as we now come to the section that is entitled Fadlu Siyam Tatawwu', the virtue of voluntary fasting. On the authority of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, may Allah be pleased with him, as he states that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, "There is no servant who fasts a day in the cause of Allah except that he is distant because of that day away from the fire of hell 70 autumns." His face is distance from the fire of hell, a distance of 70 autumns, meaning 70 years. And on the authority of Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, as he states that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that Allah the Mighty and the Majestic has said, all of the actions of the child of Adam are for him except for Sawm, except for fasting. For certainly it is for me, and I will reward for it. Fasting is a shield, meaning that fasting shields from the fire of hell and fasting shields from sin. Fasting is a shield. So when it is the day of your fasting, then do not enter into unbecoming speech and unbecoming actions. For if someone is to speak ill to you or to revile you or attempt to fight you, argue with you, then you should say, Inni sa'im, certainly I am fasting. And I swear by the one that my soul is in his hand, the breath of the fasting person is more fragrant with Allah than the smell of musk. And the fasting person will have two opportunities of felicity, two opportunities of joy. When he breaks his fast, he will be happy. And when he meets his Lord, he will also have joy in his fasting. This is agreed upon. Asharh, the explanation, fasting is amongst the most majestic, the most noble of acts of worship that exist. And Allah has specified this act of worship for himself. And he has promised a tremendous reward for the one who partakes in it. It is a protection from sin, and it is a protection from the fire of hell, and it is a cause for the servant to be brought on the day of resurrection. And when he is brought on the day of resurrection, he is brought in a space that he is pleasing to Allah. So it is appropriate for the mu'min, it is appropriate for the believer to rush toward such an act, and also to forbear to carry the burden or the difficulty or the challenge that may come along with fasting. For by way of undergoing this challenge, then, and it is a light challenge and it's not an overly heavy challenge, then because of this, on the tail end of it, we find that there will be immense joy for this individual when one breaks his fast, and also when this individual meets his Lord on the day of resurrection. Al-Fawaid, points of benefit from the section. Firstly, the virtue of fasting and how immense its reward is. Secondly, that it is a protection from sin, and it is also a protection from the fire of hell. Thirdly, and lastly, it is a cause for the servant to be distanced from the fire of hell on the day of resurrection. هذا والله أعلم وصلى الله على محمد والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.